Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, we've got Omer Mutaqi with us today. He is going to talk all things HR, and I'm excited to welcome Omer here in a second. But before we get to him, I just want to remind you that if you're at one of those big mega banks and you are tired of all those computer-generated voices and the chat bots and all their attempts to keep you from talking to a real-life banker, hey, I've got an alternative for you, Renaissance Bank. Renaissance Bank is big enough to handle pretty much any need you can throw at them, because you need that. You need size in a bank. But at the same time, you want personal service. And they're at that magic combination. And don't believe me. I mean, I'm just telling you what the folks I refer to Renaissance tell me about their experience with dealing with Renaissance. Go to renaissancebank.com, find one of their local offices, be in touch. I think you'll be glad you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And again, I want to welcome Omer Mutaqi. Omer is with BuraqHR. Omer, welcome.
Hey, John. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you? I'm glad to have you here.
I'm Peachy King.
Well, good. Omer, let's talk about you and your work. How are you serving folks through BuraqHR?
All right. Thanks for the opportunity, John. Thank you so much.
Yep.
As you mentioned, Omer Mutaqi, I'm a CEO of BuraqHR, staffing HR business for over 25 years, right off of the college. BuraqHR is a managed service provider. You know, some folks call VMS, Vendor Management Services. We started a couple of years ago, and basically the idea is to serve small and mid-sized companies, provide the same top-level services where Fortune 100 and 500 receive from some large MSPs. So folks have misunderstanding. I want to clear that. We are MSP, but we are not the IT MSP. What we call ourselves are staffing services MSP. So we manage staffing vendors for our small and mid-sized companies. You know, that's the focus, again, small and mid-sized. We don't cater the large and Fortune 100, 500s.
Got it. I want to come back to that and flesh that out here in just a minute. But let's talk about you and your career journey. Why HR for you? I mean, you could be doing a lot of different things, right? But why HR and staffing service management?
I appreciate that. Again, came here in 1990, very young age. I didn't have any direction, and I didn't have anybody who can tell me, hey, do this. I came here to become an engineer initially. However, I was paying for school, going to school, and working full-time as well. I unfortunately able to switch my career multiple times. And end of the day, I started some small businesses back in late 90s and decided to go in business development, business management. And that, one of my friends started the staffing company in the East Coast. He asked me to join him. I joined him and I liked the HR and said, you know what? I still have maybe one more year. Let me take my degree in HR, and ended up taking it in HR. So that's how I got it, and that's how I got into staffing firm.
Ah, got it. And you got into a field that is constantly changing and unpredictable simply because it deals with people, right?
Oh, yes. It's over the years, you know, it also has become commodity. As innovated, it's because there's no certification required. It's very easy to get in. So a lot of folks get in, which, you know, I don't blame them. But again, competition is good. Don't take me wrong. But, you know, that makes it hard to pay the bills.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's always competition for sure. So you talked about the vendor management services for staffing. So let's describe what this looks like, and for the typical company out there, what issues do they have in managing their staffing services vendors?
So what happened is a small company they have 5 or 6 different staffing vendors, staffing company who's providing them contractors. Usually they don't have a lot of visibility. They don't know if we have 15 positions open this month, how many were filled. Also, accounting team usually is going through the chaos because they have to look at the 15 or 10 different invoices, make sure that everyone timesheet approve, and they cut out multiple checks because you have more vendors. Where we come in a picture, we bring our technology tool, where from starting the job opening, interview process, onboarding process, time tracking process, and the invoicing and payment process we manage under our technology tool. What happened is human resource department, where they're already busy. I talk with any human resource in any company, they're busy. They don't get involved in the process, which process makes it much smoother and much quicker. A hiring manager just put the job order out or job requisition out, and the staffing vendors that we're managing, they look at the job, they start submitting the resumes. The hiring manager likes 2 resumes. He set up the interview within the system. He likes one candidate. He extend the offer. Person started onboarding happen within the system. And then when person start working, first week he or she finished the job, put the hours in, hiring manager see the time, he approves it, and boom, invoice get issued to the HR department. It's only one invoice. So now the accounting team does not have to cut 5 or 10 or 15 different checks. They just cut one check to us. We distribute the money to the vendor. So not just the HR department, the accounting department, also the hiring manager, because hiring manager know what they want, what candidate they want.
Right.
So it's much when they do one-on-one interview, they usually have a much better hire.
I would imagine that this is the kind of service that certainly is important to your clients, those clients that need that coordination between all their different vendors, right? But you're working with clients who don't have the ability to develop this technology internally, whereas the big corporations, I would imagine, do it internally, correct? Is that a fair statement?
It is also, but obviously this is also a part of large companies outsource it. They don't want to keep it in-house because, again, management piece. I mean, large companies, they're sometimes managing 50, 60 vendors. I know one of these state have similar MSP, and they have over 250 vendors. So how to manage those 250 vendors?
Right.
And the small companies is better because they usually ended up keeping their current vendors. If the current vendor cannot meet the demand, we have pool of vendors, vetted vendors, we can bring it in as well. We support small businesses. So when we bring our pool of vendors, they are women-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned companies, because we wanted to give them the opportunity. The small businesses usually focus and try to deliver better service than any large companies. So again, matching these small companies and giving them the opportunity to provide to our clients, this always works out.
Got it. So what are the market segments, the industries that typically make up your clients?
Yeah. So we, as I mentioned multiple times earlier, we only focus on mid-size to small. So somewhere around 5 million staff augmentation expand all the way to 25, 30 million. We don't try to exceed more than that spend. Only reason because that's our sweet spot. And large MSPs, there's some large MSPs out here in multi-billion dollars MSP. They don't cater the small companies, this part of the world. So it's an open door, but again, we have to educate our customers because they are not aware about it, that these services available or MSPs are available for them. And basically anyone who have multiple locations, who have more than 2 or 3 vendors, good target market for us. Predominantly, most customer we have medical device firms, pharmaceutical firms based out of US. They have location in US. So we are right now talking with a customer in Jordan who have 3 locations right here in US and 2 locations in Europe. So for them to centralize their whole HR process, we are doing the onboarding right now with them, and so far they like it, what they see. So we are also going into the state and municipalities, doing some RFPs to see if we can win that business as well. But again, any business who have multiple location and have several vendors to manage,
What are the big issues that your clients have had before they hire you? Like, I mean, what are the problems I guess you're solving? Is it just selecting vendors? Is it managing multiple vendors? And just, I would imagine that's chaos if you don't have some sort of system to manage these vendors. Or is it that they're better able to fill the jobs they have because of your system?
All of the above. Yeah.
All of the above.
Yes,
okay.
Because, now if you put out the job, you have 5 vendors now. 5 vendors have the visibility of this job. Everyone try to race to fill the job. So your turnaround time for finding a candidate is really greater. Second is compliance. A lot of these small staffing firms or staffing vendors, make sure that they have proper insurance. Make sure they are have EEOC compliance, I-9 compliance. So we as a managed service make sure that they compliance. Also visibility, reporting. Management don't know unless they have some sort of dashboard to go and say, hey, how many jobs we put out this month and how many jobs these staffing vendors fill. They can go log into our system. They can look at these reports. Okay, how many hours these contingent workforce or contractors work. They can see those things. So it's not just one, it's several different factors that we can able to help companies to, help them out and solve the problem.
Got it. Omer Mutaqi is with us, folks. He is the founder, CEO of BuraqHR. So the industries that you typically serve, talk about that.
Yeah. Pharmaceutical companies, medical device. We also working with aerospace and aviation. These are the 3 industries we're focusing mainly. But again, as I mentioned, we also doing the RFP for state and municipalities. So we are right now 3 or 4 state bids. We are part of it. Federal government is, it's not using the MSPs, so it's far. But we try to keep a balance between private and public sector.
I would imagine that a couple of different areas of interest that you mentioned there. One is you mentioned the company from Jordan, and that makes me think international companies or even a company that's maybe West Coast but's coming to the Southeast, that companies that are changing geographies, you can really be helpful to them, right?
Yes.
Because they're coming into a new geography. They need to hire. You're short-circuiting that process dramatically in terms of being able for them to get up to speed, right?
Exactly, definitely. And as you said, internationally, so a lot of companies who have base maybe US, but they have other location in East Europe or other part of the world, currency change, finding the vendors on the other countries. We have a client that we're working right now in Germany that they don't have any vendors, but they, I think, acquired a company there and they want to extend. So we are helping them. We're already supporting them here. And they like it because now they don't have to worry about the employment laws there, the vendors, compliance and all that good stuff. So it really works out, as you mentioned, companies moving to this area or moving. So we cater customers throughout the U.S. and other part of the world.
Okay.
So it's not, again, multiple locations and companies moving from one area to another area. Definitely they are the target market for us.
So you're working with companies, not just that are based in the U.S., but companies that have international operations. You just mentioned Germany, but variety of international operations, correct?
Yes. Again, when international companies try to come in the U.S., a lot of time they don't know the HR laws. They don't know the what compliances to follow. So we have a consultants available. They go and we teach them, and then once we bring our MSP system, really is hands off for them. They may not have big enough a team in the U.S. So we help them to put the team, and they can utilize our team as well. While they're building the facilities here in the U.S.
Do you help clients with, I guess, just scoring their different staffing services in terms of the quality of candidates? Is that something that you get into?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for bringing it up.
Okay.
So it's a ongoing measurement that clients wants us to do. If they may have 5 vendors that they onboarded or grandfather to us, we do it. How many quarterly recruits, how many opportunities they have, how many recruitment they made, whatever some of the other reason that they did not able to meet, and then we try to coach these vendors. And if not, then we go to the customer and client, say, hey, these 2 companies are not producing, or this one company is not producing. Do you want to replace it? and we discuss with the customer, and then we make a decision. But yes, scoring is very important, because if you have, small companies usually have small size of vendors. So if one of them not producing or two of them not producing, then you really need to recycle it.
Omer Mutaqi is with us, folks, with BuraqHR. So I'm sure there are a lot of companies out there. You mentioned the competition, a lot of vendor management platforms out there. What do you think is the distinguishing factor for you in BuraqHR?
Yeah, the other venture we have is MyHR Management, which has been in the business since 2011. And we learn over the years the HR outsourcing, especially staff aug, is really inundated, is overcrowded now. So usually the large MSPs that we have, multi-billion dollars, multinational companies, they only cater large customers because it's really expensive to manage small clients. You need to have account managers. You need to have a backup team. It's not really worthwhile for these large companies. So we see it, okay, if they're only catering Fortune 100 and 500, this is a area that is open, we can get in. What we do is we hire one account manager for managing 3 different clients, small clients. So we try to manage differently and multi-tenant sort of approach, where we're able to deliver the same services to a small companies that these large MSPs delivering to the large Fortune 100 and 500.
Got it. What are the dynamics you're dealing with right now, Omer, in terms of just the issues that are going on with your clients and how you're addressing those issues? I guess the question is, what are the big priorities on their mind that you're looking at to try to help solve for them?
Yeah. So it's the election year. Things are changing. A lot of small companies, mid-sized companies, even large companies also, they're sort of holding it back. They don't know, what's coming. We are, projecting H-1 visas is going to be affected. Also, earlier quarter, back in November, we've seen a lot of companies laid off people. And that's where our HR company comes in. We did the outplacement work for some of our clients and help their layoff folks, redevelop their skills or find them, help them with the resumes and help them find other jobs. So that's also a business we do with our MyHR Management. But now things sort of kind of a halt. Companies want to wait till, see what comes, next month. And most of the projects are sort of on hold right now.
Yeah, and I would imagine that's pretty dynamic, right? I mean, there's always something for you to work on and be concerned about when it comes to where your clients are and kind of where their heads are and where they're going with their business, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you always have to read, the headlines as well as the fine prints, and then try to analyze. And it's also, I'm part of several CEO groups where we talk about these issues and hear from other folks. And, try to gauge the market. Gauging the market is very important.
And I would think that this is where clients really do better when they have a conversation with you about kind of what their future plans are, right? I mean, that's where you can help them get ahead of the curve when it comes to expansion, like we talked about before, or some other issue they're having in their staffing, right?
Yeah, definitely. The client coming from Jordan that we're talking with, they have a location in Ohio and they have a location in New Jersey. We talk about the 2 different dynamics. We talk about 2 different pay rates, bill rates, because 2 different markets. So those are the expertise we can bring on the table when we are talking with customers who really, coming out of starting a business here in the U.S. So definitely, expertise, we have consultants available. So if they wanted to bring a rate card, we call, want to know, okay, if you are in Ohio, how much you will be paying for mechanical engineer compared to if you are in New Jersey, what you will be paying. It's a big difference.
Yeah,
and if you talk about the bill rate on top of it, cost of doing business is much different. So we're able to bring the cost down. And, customers who are using us currently, and we convert some of our staffing customers to MSP, they ended up saving money about 20%, around 20%, because their costs come down. We're able to bring the rate card in and say, hey, all vendors have to charge the same money. You cannot charge $100 for the same job where someone else charging $80, and then customer ended up saving money.
Yeah, and I would think you would help them certainly save money that way, but also save money if you're able to help them score their vendors and by the quality of the candidates. That's less turnover, less expense, right?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And now AI coming in, when the resume, by keyword search, it's a ATS system. It's not an ATS system. It's not applicant tracking system. When the resume goes in, one of our account manager review the resumes before it goes to the customer. So we try to take a lot of extra burden, extra work from the clients. So they just get qualified resumes, and if he or she doesn't like, a hiring manager doesn't like them, hey, I want more resume. We can, give them more resumes to review. So the process become really, how would I say it, lean for the client end, and obviously that's also a saving time, saving money.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to, I guess, the question of the types of clients that ought to be working with you that might not be. I mean, who are those clients? I mean, we're not talking about specific names of companies, but I'm talking about industries that you think you really offer something to that need to be in touch with you.
Yep. Companies are growing, obviously. We, in the federal market, I mentioned to you, we are targeting a lot of what we call prime vendors or prime to the federal government because they get jobs that they cannot find enough talent for what we call secure clearance. So we have vendors available that are specialized finding secured clearance candidates. So those are the clients that we are, right now targeting. Again, they are only maybe $35-40 million companies, have 3 or 4 vendors. Those are the customers who's really feel the pain. They may not have enough vendor pool. Also, companies who are going through the phases. So they may be busy next 3 months and then they quiet down after that. So they just want a push so we can bring vendors. And we also have a marketplace for vendors. So if client allow us, we can put out the job that 200 vendors can see it and put the job resumes in immediately. So sometimes, when it's client opening a big warehouse or something, we can bring that, tool as well, marketplace, so they can get more candidates in the short term. So again, depends on the client need.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Omer, I would love it if you could share some success stories.
Yeah.
You've talked about several, but some other stories that help illustrate the great work you do.
I mean, I can start and I can going for a couple hours. Stories, okay.
We've got all the time you need, man.
Yeah. So we had a customer here in Georgia, actually. We've been supporting them as an MSP, small MSP. And they had a project, came in, what do we call IT project, that they wanted to build something in China. And they went on to IBM to bid to this product. And IBM, I think, was a small project. It wasn't a big project. So IBM gave them $1 million bill. Said, this is a project. This is what we need. We need 3 developers and, 1 architect and all good stuff. And I happened to talk with the manager who's supposed to be running the project. And he said, Omer, we are doing this for our customer in China. I said, let me review it. Let me see. And what I did is I took the contract. I went to my vendors in China and said, if we can do this thing, we're able to do the same project within the less time for only $350,000.
Oh, wow.
So, it's a cost saving. Also, IBM was taking the business. I don't want to mention the name, but
right,
of course. They're taking the business and they're subcontracting to a business like us. So we're able to save that. And, we're still supporting this client. Clients loves it. And we're waiting for more projects like that.
Wow, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Yeah. Any others you want to share? That was so good. You got to have enough.
So, as I mentioned, a company based out of Jordan, we had a couple of conversations and we talk about the, cost different between, 2 different states. They were running everything on. So that's also, I think potentially bringing over 20% cost saving for them, and they already like it. But we also offer them, we can support them in Europe. What happened is currency difference. So if they are, getting paid in euro, they don't have to worry about that. So when we told him about this, he said, I didn't realize that we can do it. So they only have to pay us in dollars, and then we distribute the money. We have banking system, our system set up there already. We also do is we call, I'm sure you've heard of it, it's called employer of the record. With our HR firm that we have, we can, a lot of time when one contractor is working for you for so long, we can become an employer of the record for them. So they can go work for ABC company or XYZ company, a remote project or on remote. So we also offer those services. We offer payroll services for our customers. Sometimes they wanted to keep the contractor on a payroll, we can bring them on our payroll. Then PEO services, which is professional employee organization. So we offer these other services as well, which help our vendor management business. So,
wow.
It's a small stories, going customers where, they have 1099 contractors working, and, you by law, you have certain amount of contractor you can work 1099. Mm-hmm. We try and convert them into and then we all convert them to a W-2, and we manage the payroll. It really give a big relief to small customers.
Yes. Wow. Omer Mutaqi, BuraqHR. Omer, this has been great. I can't imagine there aren't some folks that wouldn't want to be in touch with you and learn more about your work. So let's get to the most important question, which is how they can find you.
Yes, we based out of Norcross. Best way to reach me is my email address, my first name initial O, last name Mutaqi, Mutaqi, at BuraqHR.com. Otherwise, you can reach me at office number 678-666-0333, extension 302.
And BuraqHR, BuraqHR.com.
That's the site, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Omer Mutaqi, BuraqHR. Omer, thanks for the great work you do and coming in to share that work. We're just delighted we can shine the light on you.
John, thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate that.
Absolutely. We're delighted. Thank you.
Sir.
Hey, folks, just a couple of quick things before we let you go for today. If you are a service provider, you've been around a while, and you are flatlined, you've got flat revenue, and that's because your business development needs a little help, or maybe you've got pricing issues. I've written a book just for you. It's called The Generosity Mindset, a journey to business success by raising your confidence, value, and prices. TheGenerosityMindset.com is where to go to find out more about the book and find out where it's sold, which is basically where all good books are sold. So also, I just want to thank you. If you're listening to the show, I want to thank you because you've supported us all these years. We've been doing this show now almost 9 years, and we've only gotten this far because of you. So thank you for supporting us in the way that you do. You share our shows on social media, you like us on social media and follow us, and we're grateful to you as you continue to support the work we do and help us to live into our mission to be the voice of business in the North Fulton region and beyond. Thank you for that support. So for my guest, Omer Mutaqi, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.